Okay, so I initially reviewed this car shortly after I got it, and I remember promising everybody that I was going to do a re-review at some point, so here it finally is. This is my 2011 Ford Focus. Fuel economy's 24 city, 35 highway, which is fairly accurate. However, I do get a combined fuel economy rating of roughly 35 to 36 miles per gallon. It's been a really good car. I'm real happy with the purchase. I have thought about selling it a couple times just to get out of the payments, but other than that, it's not really that much of a big deal. I just got it washed, and this stuff looks like it's some sort of rubber residue or something. But they did a real good job with the tire shine. It's a 4-speed automatic. Fog lights, which I use quite often actually. 132 horsepower at about 6,000 RPM. This is the SE package with rear spoiler. I believe they called it the appearance package as well. Power windows, power door locks, 4-speaker sound system. There's your trunk button. And as I said, 4-speed automatic. 5-speed manual comes standard. I would have loved to have this 5-speed model, but when I bought this car, I'm not kidding, there wasn't a 5-speed Focus available within 250 miles. I've kept everything up in very good shape. There's no scratches at all in the car, and the interior is never as clean as it probably should be, but I do commute in this thing. I'll get to that in a minute. It does have Sirius and auxiliary jack, which is right down here, as well as a USB port. I really like this feature. 2 power jacks. I usually just plug my phone charger into one of them. 2 cup holders, as well as 2 in the door, and 1 back here. The rear seats do fold down. I'll get to that in a second. Glove box has a fairly decent amount of space in it, but it could be bigger. In fact, I would have been happy if it was a little bit bigger. It does have AC. These came standard with AC, as well as cruise control. That it did not come standard with, but I was glad that this one came with it when I bought it, because I use that a lot, believe me. Go ahead and show you guys the back seat and the trunk. And it lets you know whenever the door's open or the trunk is open or what have you. Center console, I just throw like my GPS in there, the mailbox key. It actually goes up to about here underneath, but it's really only like that much space that you can store a little bit more in, so I'm grateful that they did that. Has a real standard color interior. One thing that's real funny about this car is I get asked all the time, I'm not kidding, if this is a company car or not. Some people might look at that as a bad thing, or somewhat of a negative thing, but I take it as a compliment, because I always keep this thing in real good shape, as I was saying. One thing that I don't like about it is there's no lock back here that you can get out with the key, or handle that you can pull on to open it from the outside. You either have to open it with your remote or from the inside with the button. Trunk space is fairly adequate. I've just got some tools in here and stuff in case, I break down, some water. Go ahead and fold the rear seats back. This is one feature that I use all the time. At least when I'm trying to haul stuff, and of course I gotta bring that seat forward, but it comes down just like this one does. Go ahead and show you guys the motor. Because of the environment I live in California, things are usually dirty, unfortunately. Motor's not as clean as I would like it to be, but definitely gets the job done. Transmission fluid, your oil dipstick, as well as your coolant reservoir, radiator cap, windshield wiper reservoir, which I do need to fill that. There's the battery. It's a 2-liter motor. Gets amazing gas mileage. It'd get better, I'm sure, if I had the manual transmission, but for an automatic, I'm more than happy with the gas mileage. One of the reasons why I figured it was such a good time to review this is, as I'll show you, I've got almost 50,000 miles on this car. It has been a great car. The only problems that I've had with it, which Ford thankfully covered under the warranty, was the one of the I forget if it was the negative or positive side, but one of the ports for the AC, or the little valves that you use to cycle the coolant, it was leaking, so I got that fixed through Ford, as well as this control panel right here for the AC, because it wouldn't differentiate between the second and third fan speeds. So anytime I put it on the third speed, it would still say on the second speed, and it would go up to the third speed occasionally, but there was something wrong with the switch right here. All this other stuff was fine, but Ford changed that out for me, which I was glad. Also down here, before I forget, you can use this to look at and change everything here, as well as you have your traction control. Comes on right there. Overdrive. Let's go ahead and cycle through some of this. You have your trip A, trip B, which I never use, obviously. 413 miles to empty. Your average mile per gallon rating, which isn't necessarily accurate, as well as your I want to say realistic or immediate mile per gallon rating. It kind of looks like the old school singular bars. The highest one's up here, lowest one's down there, depending on how economically you're driving. You can also turn it off, but I like to keep it on trip A. I've kept my subscription to Sirius basically since I got this car. Go ahead and turn it on and show you guys how quiet it is. And it'll drop down to normal idle here in a second. It idles right at about 600 or 650 RPM. And there you go, it's starting to drop down. But overall, this has been a great car. I've been very happy with the purchase. I will say, though, that I don't think I'm going to buy a brand new car ever again. If I do decide to get a car from a dealership or even a private party that's, you know, somewhat new, I would just buy one used. It's maybe like 2 or 3 years old, but hey, at least I can say I bought a brand new car at some point in my life, I guess. But that's my car, 2011 Ford Focus. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you all stay classy.